Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Crazy Rich Asians. Heading into this film, I thought the trailers looked really cute, really funny, and I was actually pretty excited for this film. I was ready to just kind of have a good, fun time. And really, it's more or less what I ended up getting with this film. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, it has to be mentioned. I just love that we received this film in general. This wonderful cast of Asian actors deliver the goods. I think they are all really good in the film. An Asian director, we have Asian writers, and an Asian author, obviously, of the book. We obviously have an Asian-based production team that is co-producing this film and helped to get it made. So it's just wonderful to see all of this Asian talent represented in this film, from top to bottom, in front of and behind the camera. A lot of really talented people that are very underrepresented. In all of our talks about diversity, I think that the Asian demographic as a whole gets largely overlooked, which is still a very big oddity because China is right up there, right behind the United States when it comes to box office power. Yet it seems all that has resulted in are efforts that more or less feel very forced in shoehorning Chinese talent into big blockbuster films. And I think they have worked at varying levels of success, but we haven't seen a film like Crazy Rich Asians, which just celebrates it through and through. And that leads into the positive that this is a very celebratory film. The music used in this film mostly isn't in English. We don't even get subtitles when it comes to the music. Many of our characters communicate with each other in other languages. We do get subtitles for those, but they're important to understand the story as we're moving forward. The country of Singapore looks absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, this film could be used as a travel ad for Singapore. It was painted in such a fantastic, beautiful light. I was ready to hop on the plane and head over to Singapore right now because it did. It really celebrated the culture in general very well. So for that, I'm just happy this movie exists. I think this is a great film for representation. It takes a more standard subset of Americanized filmmaking and gives it that new flair. And I'm just happy that this movie exists, period. I also touched on them before, but I do think our cast is very good. Constance Wu is so wonderful here. She's just so charming. She's beautiful, she's charming, she's charismatic, and I think she's a good actress as well. So hopefully we continue to get more of her because she definitely deserves it. Henry Golding is also wonderful. One, he's swoon-worthy, which is what this role calls for. But I thought he was just debonair. The two had great chemistry. They played off each other well. And they gave that romantic comedy feel that the movie needed. Michelle Yeoh was really good as our stern, unapproving mother, as we thought she would be. And I think her character is a bit one-note, but she played it so well. She added in a few extra layers that the role didn't exactly write in for her. And I think that's just a sign of a really strong actress. And then we had Awkwafina, who plays off as like the kooky, crazy best friend, playing a very Awkwafina style role, but she plays the role well. Can't fault her for that, and I thought she had some really great lines, some of the best laughs in the film. For the most part, the film accomplishes most of what it sets out to do. This is, in essence, a romantic comedy, a standard romantic comedy. I think that the leads have enough chemistry to sell the romance part of that, and I chuckled several times throughout the film. It's not laugh out loud funny, but what romantic comedy is. It makes you smile enough times. It makes you laugh enough times. It's an enjoyable enough way to spend your time. So what does the film not do so well? Well, I do think there are a lot of negatives when it comes to Crazy Rich Asians as well, unfortunately. The first one is that we have a subplot with one of his relatives that is given far too much attention for the time that we have with it. It is a through line throughout the story that is given some sort of mystical emotional heft, but it's not the main story, and to get through to that and really get to the core of it, it needed to be its own main story. Instead, it's shoved to the side, but we still spend far too much time dealing with this other person's issue. I wish we would have just stuck in on the main line, and really all of the periphery characters were there to add to the main storyline instead of like detracting us into this side like B plot. But those characters aren't really that well developed at all, and none of our characters outside of maybe our main couple are developed at all. All very cut and paste stereotypical characters you would expect in this type of film, which is interesting given that we're in a different culture. But then again, outside of the cast and the cultural aspects to the film, this is a very standard cut and paste romantic comedy. It goes by every beat you expect it to go by. It plays by every rule that every standard rom-com has ever played by. It does not reinvent the wheel, and very rarely does it even deviate from the wheel throughout. So you know what's coming, you know what you're getting, you can map out the basic game plan from the start when it comes to the film, because it is a rom-com and very much feels like a rom-com. I also feel that a lot of the technical aspects to the film felt a little underwhelming. We have so many beautiful set pieces. I really do think that there are gorgeous set pieces in this film, but the cinematography just fell flat. Like, it felt very television. And even when you look at the camera angles and the camera work in general, the shot composition, it all was just a bit off. It just never settled into the look and feel and flow of a feature film. It felt a little bit more sitcom-y. In that, I think it is just a touch too long. This movie comes in at the 2-hour mark, and I think it could have been maybe an hour 45 at most. If we had cut out like side plot issues, if we had cut out like unnecessary thing here or there, I think it would have flowed better and moved us along at a more reasonable pace. But overall, the final verdict is simple. If you are a fan of old school classic romantic comedies of the 90s and 2000s, I think you are going to have a very nice time with this film. My audience in general seemed to really enjoy themselves with this movie. I say give it a matinee. If you're looking for an old school rom-com that admittedly we don't get very much of in 2018, then this is worth a matinee for you. Otherwise, I say give this a rental. Again, I'm happy that this film exists. I want it to be supported financially so that we continue to get this sort of diversity and we continue to take steps forward for all racial groups. But the plot itself is harmless, it's fine, it's cute, it's a decent enough time, but it's just a little bit pedestrian all across the board. So if you're not a big rom-com fan, give this a rental. I think it still is a nice watch, but it doesn't necessarily warrant a theater experience. So that is my review of Crazy Rich Asians. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Crazy Rich Asians? And what is your favorite classic rom-com? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!